Hello, David Frederick Riley here. This is vlog number 3 in my new series here about living the life of Riley through art. So, I want to talk a little bit about different ways of learning. Number one in my series of categories here on the 5 categories is get really good. So, I want to talk about different options for getting good. And this is going to be really based around painting and drawing specifically. I think you really got maybe three different avenues. With maybe some peripheral ones as well, but you've got college, and this could be a state school, or this could be a private art school, but either way, it's a the collegiate way. Then you've got maybe the academy, which typically these are based in what you'd learn if you went to Florence and studied with the old masters, the classical way of learning to see and draw and paint. And then maybe the third would be an individual mentor. And I think all three of these ways have some pros and cons to them. The biggest thing I think you want to watch out for is you really want to understand who you're working with. Know their limitations, because all humans, I think, when they teach, they pass down not just their information, but they also pass down their limiting beliefs. And keep a very close eye on limiting beliefs of others and even more importantly, yourself, because the limiting beliefs build the box that then you have to live in. So they build the prison that you get to operate inside of. I can tell you from my personal experience, I've had to break a whole bunch of limiting beliefs to get where I am. And it's a lot of work. And so it's better just to not set them up ahead of time. And it's definitely good to not inherit any from people you're learning from. So even if you're going to go to college, learn what professors are there. Who do they have teaching the things you want to learn? What are their limiting beliefs? If you're going to go stay in an academy, understand that situation. Interview the people who you're going to learn from. And if you're going to use the mentor route, definitely get to know them before giving them a whole bunch of money and a whole bunch of your time. Okay, so real quick, pros and cons from my perspective, and this is all just my perspective. College. Nice things about college. Pros would be that you get a degree. If you want to teach in the collegiate system afterwards, you have a degree that allows you to do that. You get a wide exposure to types of artwork. You'll learn about modern art, contemporary art, potentially abstract. You'll get to learn a little bit about realism and the fundamentals, probably, and probably different mediums, maybe printmaking, maybe graphic design, maybe illustration, maybe drawing and painting, maybe sculpture. So that's nice. Other pros, it's really good socially. I met my wife in grad school, and so the cost of the tuition was worth it just for that. That may not be the same for you, but that part worked out pretty well for me. Cons, you're learning from college professors. Some college professors will have a lot of professional experience. Others will have never worked professionally at all. And so to learn from someone who's not actually doing currently in the field, it is going to, most likely, you're going to get some limiting beliefs there passed on to you. So learn from doers as much as you can. Another con is it's expensive. It's not cheap to go that route. It takes a long time. You've got 4 years and you've got a wide exposure, which is good, but also you've got a wide exposure, meaning you're not focused in and maybe not as efficient as it could be. It's not going to be as streamlined as a mentor, for example, who's doing exactly what you want to do. The academies, this is learning the traditional way, classical way of learning to draw and paint. Pros on that, it's less expensive than college. It's extremely streamlined. You're going to be learning just how to draw and paint. This is a faster way to learn. There are some cons though too. You're not going to have the wide exposure. Most likely you're not going to be learning about any type of abstract art, pop art, contemporary modern art. And if you're into that, you're going to have to find that elsewhere. There's no degree. You're going to know how to draw and paint, but you're not going to have a piece of paper. And also maybe not as good socially. It's typically smaller groups, and that's great for learning. But if you're young and the social aspect of learning is very important to you, you may just not find it there. All right. And that would leave mentors, studying with somebody. At some point, I highly recommend this. Even if you've got a degree, most likely you're coming out of there with some holes in your knowledge. Even if you go to academy, there may be some holes in your knowledge, and maybe what you need is to get right with that person who's doing what you want to do. Ideally, you can find someone who's making a good chunk of change doing it, uh, as well, because having someone who can do it for a living and make good money, that's going to rub off on you as well. So consider that. Are they a really good painter, but they can't make any money? Then you're probably going to need a mentor on how to make money. Pros and cons of a mentor. The number one pro is that it's streamlined. It's absolutely streamlined. They're going to be able to teach you exactly how they do what they do. And that goes for creating artwork, that goes for the logistics of owning a business and paying their bills with their art. That's the huge benefit of the mentor. It's the fastest way to become professional that there is. There's some downsides. You can adapt their style into yours, which may not be good for them, may not be good for you. There's no degree, and it's probably the most limited socially. When I studied with some artists, it was me in the room, the artist, and maybe one, maybe two other people. For me, that was fine at the time. I had a wife and kids I wanted to get back with anyway. So a lot of pros and cons to consider on how to get really good. The number one thing I can say about getting really good is put in the time. It takes a long time. I'm frequently told how talented I am, and maybe I had some proclivity towards drawing and painting as a child. Everything after that is time in front of the easel. You start with a little bit of natural talent, and then you work to death on it until you get really good. And so next time I'll talk a little bit about the elements of two-dimensional art as far as I see them, and how you can use those to understand where you need to improve and how much you need to improve, and why the artists you admire, why their artwork looks so good or real or creates a mood or an atmosphere. All that's based in the elements of art: drawing, values, color, edges. Those are the big ones. But find someone that you can learn these things from, that you enjoy being around, and that's going to expand your mind. Thanks.